Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Colleen at crackedfemalcode.com or MikeColleen.com. Welcome to the School of Awesome. Okay, so I had surgery yesterday on my shoulder, so I'm a little bit out of it, but there's something that I keep coming across these videos about how men get really angry at women, and a lot of it, not a lot of it, hell, all of it, it's because you misunderstand them. Hey, excuse my voice. It's because they put that tube down my throat. It's kind of like scratchy. It's kind of hard to talk. Okay, so there was another young lady on YouTube. She was making a video about how man, this is kind of complicated, but it's not when you see it. Basically, she's talking about here's how you get a man attracted to you. You know, you tease him, you do this, you do that, you play hard to get. And every guy in there's like, I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time for this bullshit. Well, it just literally tells me you don't understand women at all. And I'm not mad at you, but okay, when you come to the other side, you're going to be like, holy shit, wait a minute. So they like this? Like, yeah, they like it, but you don't. Like, there was a young lady who made a short, and what did she say? She said, when you ignore a woman, it makes her chase you. But when a woman ignores a man, it makes him leave. Now here's why. I've said it a lot, but I'm going to say it one more time. Over the however many thousands of years humans have been alive, when we were really first establishing ourselves in our brain, you got to understand, over the hundreds of thousands of years, our brain has developed and shifted and grown. Now, I mean, our brain physically began to build new parts. Okay, here's what I mean. I'm not going to go into a huge historic scientific study, but essentially, humans operated off of the lower reptilian brain. They were very instinctual. The caveman, the Neanderthal, not very smart. But then we began to develop the left and right brain. But really what we began to develop was the connections between the brains. Now, that is what caused the speed of transfer of information. So we started to become really smart. Or we didn't have to constantly gather food. We started to plant food, make farms, and we could hunt animals in a much smarter way. So as the brain developed, our brain began to burn up a lot of energy. By the way, your brain burns up a ton of energy. So a lot of your calories, if you are a thinker and use your brain a lot, you burn up a lot of energy. That's why people that do a lot of thinking for work, they tend to be very skinny. So the trade-off was, before our brain developed to that extent, we could walk and travel for many, many miles. But as our brain began to eat more and more of our calories, we had to really be strategic. We had to figure stuff out, or we didn't have as much time and fuel. So you had to be able to figure out how to get food before you ran out of fuel. So the trade-off is you're a lot smarter, because information could transfer from one part of the brain to the other, and back and forth and stuff. So we burned up a lot more energy, but we could figure things out a lot better. We were more strategic. We could plan, stuff like that. So now, as we move forward in time, there was this sheath that we still have that goes over the top of our brain and connects all the front, the back, the left, the right. So now we have these neural connections, so information can transfer from anywhere to anywhere, whereas before it was essentially from left brain to right brain, just back and forth. So now we have massive neural connections. Well, what's my point with all this? Our brains developed. And it took a long, long time. So the brain is not going to change in 100 years. Okay, so we've had modern society for about 100 years. You don't go past 1900, because most people are still surviving back then. It takes thousands of years for our brains and neurology to shift and to change. So the thing is, we live in the modern world, but the problem is our brain and our system has not caught up. So there's something called the mating dance, and the modern male completely has no clue what it is. We used to, but we don't anymore. Because it used to be passed down. It was natural. This is the way we were. And it was around 1900 when the father stopped teaching their son, well, here's the mating dance. Here's what you're supposed to do. When she does this, don't do that. When she does this, do this. Okay, when I was in kindergarten, I kid you not, I don't know if you guys had this, but when I was in kindergarten, I remember one day we were in class and they brought out like the TV projector or the movie projector or whatever it was called. And they had these like pheasants, these birds from, it was in Africa, and they were like dancing, and they were kind of, flocking their feathers and their wings and bouncing back and forth and left to right and doing all this stuff. And then all of a sudden they would have sex, and as the kid I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Now here's the funny part. So the female, after she mated with the first guy, she started figuring out the dance, and what she would do, she would cut corners. She would cut to the very last step, and she would skip all the steps in between the first and the last. She'd start with the first when she first met another mate, and then she'd skip to the end, and and the male pecked her on the back of the head like. So I've been watching some Theo Von lately. He's been doing a lot of shows with that country singer Ella. Man, those two make a great couple, by the way. They got to get married. So anyways, back to this, the mating dance thing. So the female figured out like, oh shit, when I do this part, the male, that's when it's time to have sex, right? So the female met another mate, and what happened was she just suddenly did she went from the first part to the last step, let's say step 9, and she skipped 2 and 8. And the male just saw this, and it pecked her on that and just like attacked the shit out of her. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to kill her. And then the teacher stops and goes, does anyone know? I mean, guys, we're in kindergarten. Does anybody know why the male's doing that? And I want to say, yeah, because she's a whore. So she figured out the last step before you have sex, and she wanted the reward, so she skipped right to it. Well, here's the part that I didn't understand. So the teacher said, well, the reason why the male did that is because it tells the male that she's already copulated and had sex with another mate, because she knows the steps and she knows the dance. So when she jumped to the very last step, it means she's already been mated with, so that's why he pecked her on the back of the head and basically calling her a cheating whore. Because he didn't want to raise someone else's children. Sound familiar? Sound familiar, guys? So here's my point. In all sincerity, there is a mating dance, and no one's ever taught it to you. The pickup artist courses, they struggle with it. They have kind of a clue, but it literally is kind of a clue. My course is called Crack the Female Code for a reason. I'm going to tell you, it's going to make it so obvious. You're going to know the steps. So I'm reading these posts on this, this girl, like, and these women are trying to help men, like, women, they like to do this, they like to do that, and men are like, yeah, screw that, I don't got time for that shit. And it's playing hard to get and beating around the bush and all the shit that men hate, because you don't understand. This is how you trigger a mating system. But because your mating system isn't triggered that way, you're blind to it, and because of that, you don't get the best pick of the litter. In other words, you're completely oblivious to the mating dance. I mean, you're just clueless. Let's say it one more time. Let's go back to the caveman era where there were no grocery stores, there were no farms, there was no police officers, there was no laws. Everyone did whatever the fuck they wanted, essentially. Now, for females to survive, especially if they got pregnant, they needed a man. They needed a caveman to take care of them. So they worked. Now, listen closely, because this got hardwired into a female's mating system. And the modern male was raised completely ass backwards fucking wrong. And we don't do this stuff anymore at all. But her mating system demands it. And that's the thing. It's still hardwired into her system. The challenge is modern males have been brainwashed and conditioned to not be males. We don't do our part at all, and women are fucking frustrated. Now you're probably going, well, we can just skip the mating dance. No, she can't. And neither can you. That's like when I was a little kid in kindergarten, I was thinking, oh, screw this shit. And I realized what the teachers were trying to hint around is, yeah, this is, a male and female having sex. And they were like introducing us to sex in a very slow, kind of safe way by doing it through animals. And I figured out what they were doing. I'm like, well, I'm not no fucking animal. I'm not going to do that shit. I'm not going to do no fucking mating dance. But then again, I was a fucking kid. Now as a grown man, I'm like, oh, I get it. If you don't do it, she doesn't get turned on and she doesn't want to mate. Because it's God or Mother Nature's way of saying only the smart males get to mate with the most beautiful women. That's my book, Cracked Female Code. It's on my website. When you get it, it's going to look like this. So this is the original cover right here. And by the way, there literally are codes and patterns to her mating system. There's a series of them. So number one, I'm going to explain why the caveman era was so important. If you can understand the way it was back then, you can understand why women need to do what they need to do in order to be turned on to have sex. You got to understand, these programs are hardwired into our instinctual system in the lower reptilian brain in men and women. You can't help it. See, you're going, but Mike, logically speaking, dude, take the logic, shove it deep up your ass because it doesn't do logical shit. And that, my friends, is exactly what's wrong with most of you guys. You get mad at women because I'm trying to do things logically, Mike. I'm doing the steps. Like, what are you in a fucking Lamaze class? I mean, seriously, guys, like, you're going to have to let go of that logical shit to understand. What you should be doing is following your emotions, your feelings, and your sexual drive, your instincts. But the modern male was taught that's wrong, that's bad. And we get punished in movies, television commercials, TV shows, our teachers. I mean, it is a fucking non-stop onslaught of punishment for being a natural, normal, healthy male. And it starts at a really, really young age, and it's really fucked up. Now, here's kind of the good part of that, though. Most men, and I'm talking like 97% of men, are completely asleep. They're just completely, I'm Mr. Logic, and women are going, fuck, where's the good men? Where the fuck are the men that follow their instincts, their urges, sexual drive, urges? Her mating system is looking for a man who does this, who follows his natural instincts, his urges, his sexual drive. Modern men, oh no, I don't do that because that's not proper. So here's the good part about it. Once you learn how to do this, there's no competition. I mean, there's none. I mean, it's fucking insane, dude. Talking about getting the overwhelming unfair advantage. I mean, the only people that have this are the people that have taken my course. So the number one thing we're going to do is we're going to teach you in depth and condition this into you to be the way you were supposed to be in the first place. Now here's the really, really weird thing. Women love it. You think they're going to beat you back down? No. They're like, oh my God, I found one. Women reward you when you finally do this. Now listen to the way I'm talking. I'm not doing the, guys, what you gotta be, all that egotistical bullshit. It has nothing to do with your fucking ego. Alright, so let me get to the chase of the video. So number one, there's something that the caveman did when there's no police, there's no judges, no grocery stores, farms, silos. It was pure survival. It was pure instinct. What did I just say? Instinct. It's the same part of the brain that I said a moment ago about urges, following his instinct. Modern men don't fucking do that. But Mike, that's not logical. I'm going to tell you right now, women have no respect for men that are stuck in their logic at all. They respect the fuck out of a guy that's instinctual, that's following his fucking senses, his instinct, his urges. Do you know why? Because that means she can also follow hers. Because our mating systems are in the instinctual fight or flight, kill or be killed brain. This is natural. This is normal. This is healthy. When you shove it down and you hide in your logic, that's not healthy, that's not happy, it's not natural, and it's not normal at all. The logical brain is the least natural brain of them all. Okay, here we go. Number one. Think caveman era. There's no grocery stores, no 7-Elevens, no bottles, no banks, no silos, no farms, no trucks, no guns, no rifles, nothing. Fucking instinctual survival. You had to fucking survive. Her mating system is inside the instinctual brain, just like yours is. This stuff triggers her mating system. If you're a Mr. Logical guy, she looks at you like, yeah, you're not gonna fucking survive in a million fucking years. But Mike, that's not logical. I make $100,000 a month. It doesn't matter. Her mating system, her lower reptilian brain doesn't understand money, banks, farms, fucking grocery store. It doesn't exist in that part of the brain. It doesn't see them. It has no awareness of them. It's all about instinctual. So you have to understand her most powerful drive is connected to the instinctual part of her brain, which yours is too, but you've been so punished from it and conditioned to not connect with it. Well, you're disconnected, and she doesn't get turned on that way. So for a caveman that follows his instinct, he's most likely to not only survive, but to thrive and be able to provide food for her and her children when she gets pregnant by him. So when a caveman gets up and he walks this way, guess what she does? She gets up and she walks that way. She follows him. Remember, but Mike, it's 2026, that was a long time ago. It's hardwired into her mating system to follow you. You get up in the morning, you're hungry, and there's a deer fucking 200 yards away, and you run over there, you sneak around, you attack it, you break its neck, you kill it, now you got some food. It would behoove her to follow you if she wants to survive, if she wants to eat. What did I say? Follow you. Follow you. Follow you. Follow you. Chase you. Women love the chase. The problem is the modern male is doing the chasing now. And men go, oh, I just don't have time for that shit. Yeah, because you're not supposed to be fucking chasing. You're supposed to be chasing your fucking dream, which is your deer, which is your $100,000 a month or whatever. You were never supposed to chase her. That's not the way it works. Women would see back. You gotta understand, back then, a female couldn't survive. Cavemen had okay, the modern male has something like average male has 600. I forget the measurement name, but 600. Call it milliliters. I don't know what it is, but whatever. Of testosterone, 600 to 700 and whatever. Now the above average male is 850 and up, or 725 to 850, something like that. But the caveman, he had way over 1250. He was even more than that. It was 1800. It was unbelievable. But the modern woman, she has 150. I think it's under 200 units of testosterone. It's really, in fact, I think it's under 150. Well, the cave woman maybe had about 250 or 285, not even 300. So the cave woman needed the caveman to fucking survive. So what would that mean? That means they would fight their ass off to please, to appease, to make a caveman fucking happy. But what does the modern male do? We take that all away from her. We try to make her happy. Here's the deal. When you're doing that, you're taking her job away, so she feels like, oh shit, I can't appease this guy. I'm gonna lose my survival unit, basically. She's not going to survive. This is why women will panic in relationships. They'll yell and scream over the stupidest things. What are you so mad about? Fuck, it's just a fucking little fucking piece of dust. But they'll lose their shit because they're freaking out inside because you're not letting her chase you. You're not letting her make you happy and work hard to keep you around. It is so hardwired into her nervous system that she'll become a nervous wreck over time if you're the one trying to always buy her stuff, pay for dinner, take her out, and do all this stuff, whereas she's used to cooking, massaging you, taking the meat you brought home, cleaning it, preparing it, cooking it, all kinds of stuff. The modern women, men do everything now, and they're just like, well, fuck. I'm going to tell you right now, women are fucking lost. They don't know what the fuck's going on. And I don't mean that because of them, but I mean because of you, because of men. You should never chase a woman, ever, 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 ever. Period. End of. You should always be on the hunt for more food, for more money, for more whatever, and she should be following in tow. That's the way Mother Nature designed it. It happened for tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. I don't know how long, but a long time. It is so embedded into her system that if you're trying to make her happy, I promise you, it'll make her the most scared, most nervous wreck, miserable woman on the planet. When a woman works hard to massage you, cook for you, clean for you, and do all these things, her emotional system relaxes. Like, okay, it's like she's working to keep you around, which makes her feel safe and calm. If she's not working, she's like, oh shit, I'm about to get kicked out of the house. What am I going to do? I had a buddy that lives in Wisconsin. He called me up. He was having problems with his wife. And I said, does she ever just like freak out, like literally yell out, like over the littlest fucking thing? He goes, oh yeah, she's been freaking out for a while. I go, well, look what you're doing. I go, she got you to quit your job. He had this dream job. He was an airline pilot. He had his captain's bars. He'd been at this company for many, many years. He was one of the lead pilots, and he was making a ton fucking money. And she's like, and this is just a test. Women test you because they want to make sure that you're thinking for yourself. When you agree to what she's asking you to do, you fail the fucking test. So what happened was he quit his job where he's flying these. He was an executive pilot making top-notch dollar, lots of respect, wore a nice business suit, and next thing you know, he's flying for I don't know if it was Federal Express, one of those jumbo jets that fucking delivered packages and shit. His pay got cut all the way down. He had to start all over at the bottom of the rung, and lost all his respect. And he goes, dude, people used to respect me, man. The other pilots are flying those jumbo jets and flying people around, because I was an executive airline pilot. I was flying these important people around. I was getting paid more than them, et cetera, et cetera. So she said, you need to spend more time with the kids. You need to spend more time at home. And so he goes, okay. And I go, well, how many years did she do this? And he goes, oh God, for 5, 6, 7 years. I'm like, so why did you do it? He goes, well, I just figured, I would do it for her. And I'm like, oh, bad move, bro. And I said, what was she like before you quit your job? He goes, what do you mean? I go, just, you come home from work, you're gone for 3 days or 4 days. Because he would stay over at meetings, and you'd have to wait for them. And then a day or two later, he'd fly them back home. Then he'd fly back home from wherever, they were. And so he was usually gone for anywhere from 1 day to 2 days, sometimes 4 days. And I go, so what was it like when you walked in the door? He goes, well, I'd walk in the door, the kids would run over, they'd kind of grab my legs, I'd do fake wrestling with them, and I go, then what? He goes, she would bitch and moan and complain. I'm like, what would you do? He goes, honestly, I would laugh at her. I'm not going to quit my fucking job. He goes, this is my dream job. I go, so then what would you do? He goes, well, she would walk in the living room or something. He goes, I would literally laugh at her, and then sometimes I'd put her in a headlock, and I'd give her a noogie on the top of her head. That's when you rub your knuckles in their hair on the top of their head. I go, and then what? He goes, I don't know. I would just walk in the kitchen, and then he goes, I would literally say like a caveman. I'd open my arms up and goes, what's for dinner, honey? I go, let me guess. She would run into the kitchen, wrap her arms around you, and say, what do you want? I'll cook you whatever. He goes, she would literally do that exact scenario. She would run in, wrap her arms around me from behind, and ask me what I wanted for dinner. So then I said, well, how long did she bitch and moan and complain when you first walked in the door when you're wrestling with the kids? He goes, I don't know, about 2-3 minutes, something like that. I'm like, oh, doesn't sound that bad. He goes, no. I go, let me guess. Now when she bitches and moans and complains, it's all day long, every day, nonstop. Literally goes on and on for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes before she cries and runs off into the bedroom. He goes, Yeah, that's exactly what's going on now. I go, so what was the problem? He goes, what do you mean? I go, so you traded 2 minutes of bitching, moaning, complaining at a very low level for hours of bitching and moaning, complaining every day you come home from work. He goes, huh, never thought of it like that. I go, yeah. So you quit your job, your dream job, you've been making less than half of what you were making. You've had to cut back on everything, and now she's bitching and moaning nonstop. Now here's the other thing I said. I said, does she kind of panic about every little thing now? Does she like really freak out over the stupidest shit? He goes, yeah, it's unnerving because it's like she's a nervous wreck. I'm like, yeah, because now her unconscious mind views you as another female, and she's going, oh shit, I've got children in the house. I need a fucking male. We need to survive. He goes, but we got plenty of food. We got to have a roof over our head. What are you talking about, Mike? He goes, I'm not making minimum wage. I still make really good money. I'm like, it's not about the money. Her unconscious mating system, her reptilian brain, the lower brain, is instinctual. It views you as either another woman or a child. In fact, that's really what happens is you got caught in her child rearing program in the right brain. Once you get caught up in that program where she's telling you what to do and you're going, oh, okay, I'll quit my job. Okay, I'll cut my hair shorter. Okay, I'll dress differently. Okay, I'll buy different clothes. Okay, I'll do this. I'll eat different. Now you're another child. Now here's the thing that most men don't understand about women when it comes to children. Women are ruthless when it comes to children that are not theirs. You're not my fucking child? Too bad. Get the fuck out and starve to death. I don't care, because there's only enough supply for me and my children. This part of her system does not recognize banks. Now her other part of her system does, her left brain, etc. It understands banks and money and work, and she might make $100,000 or $1 million a month herself. But it doesn't matter, and that's the part that you stuck in your logical brain has a hard time understanding. Her instinctual system will always override the logical system. So it happened, Chrissy, his wife, by the way, her and I were in the same grade. Brett was actually a couple years older than us. So Chrissy was freaking out, and he goes, yeah, she freaks out all the time over the littlest shit. She worries and stresses. I go, what was she like before, when you would put her in a headlock and give her a noogie in the head and walk in the kitchen and say, what's for dinner, honey? He goes, she was calm. She slept well. We made love all the time. I'm like, huh, sounds like a pretty good life, but you had to give it up, huh? Now he was just pondering, because he's like, yep, that's exactly what the fuck happened. And then I said, I bet she feels like she's talking to a complete stranger, like she's talking to a caveman she can't understand. He got really quiet. He looks at me like, what the fuck? She literally has said that. She said, I feel like I'm living in a home with a stranger, like a complete stranger, like a caveman I can't even understand. Like, I don't understand you. When I was coming up the Golden Gate Bridge, I was walking my bike up towards the bridge. There's a steep hill from Chrissy Field. I run into a Korean woman. She's about 35 years old, and we started talking. And I told her that I specialize in communication between men and women, which, by the way, always gets the woman's attention. See, guys, you have no idea. Remember, her mating system's connected to the right brain's communication center. And I say this stuff to women, and they look at me and they're, It is so easy to meet women. You have no idea how easy it is. So I was explaining my course, breaking it down to her. Now, at the time, I didn't know she was married. And we're talking, and she's just really into this conversation. Now, this is a complete stranger I just met. She's just, yep. She's, that's true, yeah. So here's what she said. Now, I was talking about how men and women speak two totally different languages, and how the left brain and the right brain give two completely different meanings to the same word. So when you say A, he processes it through the logical brain, and it changes the meaning to everything, and he's hearing B, and he'll argue to death, you said this and this means that, and you're like, no, I said this and this means that, and you go back and forth because your two brains give two completely different meanings. You know what she said? She goes, I can't understand my husband. I'm like, oh, is he from America? She goes, no, he's born in Korea too. We speak the same language. I'm like, oh, you mean so literally like because of the male-female barrier? She goes, yeah. She goes, I hear him talking. I hear the words. I understand the words, but I don't understand what he's saying. Guys, this is not a rare thing. I have heard women say this for 30 fucking years. We are speaking different languages, literally. They're sub-languages within a language. Guys, I'm telling you, every single woman knows this. They're very conscious of it. They're very aware. We speak two different languages. It's the men that are like, what are you talking about? You have no clue, do you? Crack the Female Code is the best course on the planet. It's not like the best. It's the course. It's like going to school, learning basic math, then intermediate math, then advanced math, then expert math, and algebra 2, geometry. I mean, you learn it. It's not like it's, well, I kind of got a clue. No, this is the course, man. Right now, start here. Go to my website. Go to crackthefemalecode.com. Buy my book, Crack the Female Code, and read it. It's going to blow your mind. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.